The Zephyrian fleet descended from the star-speckled void like metallic vultures, their sleek ships casting shadows across Earth's major cities. Ambassador Kethvar, tall and crystalline with skin that refracted light like cut diamonds, stood before the United Nations Assembly. "People of Earth," his voice resonated through translation devices, "your species has been selected for recruitment. The Galactic Consortium requires soldiers for the war against the Void Devourers. Your compliance is not optional." Secretary General Martinez stood slowly. "And what makes you think we'll simply hand over our people?" Kethvar's crystalline features shifted in amusement. "Because you have no choice. We have studied your species for cycles. Humans are weak, fragile, short-lived. Your technology is primitive, but you reproduce quickly and seem." The word hung in the air like a curse. "We will take 10 million of your people. They will be enhanced with our biotechnology to serve as cannon fodder. In return, we will not destroy your planet." The assembly erupted in angry voices. Representatives shouted protests while security tensed. But Kethvar remained unmoved, his diamond-like skin reflecting the chamber's lights coldly. "You have 72 of your hours to comply. Refuse, and we will take what we need by force." His image flickered and vanished. What the Zephyrians didn't know was that Dr. Sarah Chen, sitting in the observer section, had been working on something they couldn't have imagined. Hidden in the depths of the Human Genome Project's classified extensions, she had discovered something extraordinary. As the assembly dissolved into chaos, Sarah quietly slipped out. Her hands trembled as she pulled out her secure phone. The call connected immediately. "Dr. Mitchell, it's Sarah. We need to accelerate the project. They're here, and they want our people." She paused, looking back at the panicking delegates. "But I think we might be exactly what they're not expecting." The secret was already in their blood. 6 months earlier, in a sterile laboratory beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Sarah Chen stared at her computer screen in disbelief. The genetic sequence she'd been analyzing had finally revealed its secret. "This can't be right," she whispered, running the analysis again. Her colleague, Dr. James Mitchell, looked up. "What's got you talking to yourself, Sarah?" "James, you need to see this." She gestured to the screen showing human DNA. "Remember the junk DNA we could never figure out? The sequences that seemed to serve no purpose?" "Yeah, what about them?" Sarah's hands trembled as she highlighted specific sequences. "They're not junk, they're instructions. Dormant instructions." She zoomed in. "Enhanced cellular regeneration, increased bone density, improved neural processing, muscular efficiency." James moved closer. Instructions for what? A Supersoldier blueprint embedded directly into human DNA. And then turned off. That's impossible. Evolution doesn't work that way. Sarah pulled up comparative analyses. "I've tested over 1,000 samples from every continent, every ethnic group. It's universal, James. Every human carries these dormant sequences." She leaned back, the implications hitting her. What if we're not the first version of humanity? What if someone created us this way for a reason? James studied the data. The complexity is incredible. These sequences are more sophisticated than our active genome. Exactly. It's like having a supercomputer disguised as a calculator. Sarah's excitement grew. "I've been working on activation protocols. In lab mice, the transformation is dramatic. Can you activate it in humans?" "Theoretically, yes. It requires specific genetic triggers and environmental stimuli, but I don't know if it's reversible." James looked at the swirling DNA models on screen. "Sarah, if this is real, it changes everything. We're not just random evolution. We're designed, enhanced. We just forgot how to turn it on." Neither noticed the encrypted transmission leaving their supposedly secure facility, carrying their discovery to watchers far beyond Earth's solar system. Following the Zephyrian ultimatum, Dr. Chen found herself in an emergency meeting with world leaders in a bunker beneath the Pentagon. The room buzzed with desperate energy as generals argued about impossible odds. "We need to consider their offer," said General Patterson. 10 million volunteers to save 8 billion lives. "You're talking about sending people to die," President Walsh shot back. Sarah stood up, her laptop clutched in her hands. "What if we didn't have to?" The room fell silent. Dr. Chen, Secretary General Martinez said, "This isn't the time for theoretical science." "It's not theoretical." Sarah connected her laptop to the display. "I've discovered something in human DNA, something that could change everything." For the next 30 minutes, she explained her findings. The room grew progressively quieter as the implications became clear. "You're saying every human is potentially a super soldier?" General Patterson asked slowly. "More than that. The genetic modifications the Zephyrians are offering, they're crude compared to what's already inside us. It's like they're trying to give us a calculator when we already have a supercomputer. It's just turned off." President Walsh leaned forward. "Can you turn it on?" "I've been working on the activation sequence. It requires specific genetic triggers and environmental stimuli, but I've only tested it on lab mice. The transformation is dramatic, and I don't know if it's reversible." "The mice?" Defense Secretary Morrison asked. Sarah pulled up video footage. "Increased strength by factor of 15. Enhanced reflexes, accelerated healing, improved cognitive function. One mouse survived injuries that should have been fatal." The room watched in stunned silence as enhanced mice performed impossible feats on screen. "How long for human trials?" President Walsh asked. "With volunteers and resources? 2 weeks, maybe less." "Then we don't surrender," the president said firmly. "We evolve." General Patterson nodded grimly. "God help us. We're about to find out what humanity really is." Private Maria Santos volunteered without hesitation. The 25-year-old Marine had lost her brother in Afghanistan and her sister in a car accident. "I've got nothing left to lose," she told Dr. Chen, "and if this can save people, I'm in." The transformation chamber resembled a high-tech medical pod surrounded by monitors and IV lines. Military officials watched through reinforced glass as Sarah made final preparations. "The process will take approximately 6 hours," Sarah explained. "You'll experience significant discomfort as your cellular structure reorganizes." "Doc," Maria interrupted with a grin, "I've been through Marine boot camp. I think I can handle it." The serum was injected at 800 hours. Within minutes, Maria's vital signs fluctuated wildly. Her heart rate spiked to 180 BPM, then dropped to 40, then stabilized at 60. Her body temperature rose to 103 Fahrenheit before normalizing. At hour 2, the real changes began. Maria's muscle density increased visibly. Her bone structure shifted, becoming denser and more efficient. Her neural activity showed patterns never before recorded in humans. "Look at her cellular regeneration rate," whispered General Patterson. On the monitors, they watched Maria's body repair minor wear and tear at accelerated speed. Old scars faded. Her eyesight improved beyond normal human limits. Her reflexes, tested through automated systems, were now 3 times faster. At hour 6, Maria opened her eyes. "How do you feel?" Dr. Chen asked through the intercom. Maria sat up slowly, her movements precise and controlled. "I feel everything. I can hear conversations 3 rooms away. I can smell coffee down the hall. And I feel strong, really strong." She stood and walked to the reinforced glass. Without apparent effort, she pressed her palm against it. The blast-resistant glass cracked in a spiderweb pattern. "Sorry," she said sheepishly, "still getting used to this." The transformation was complete. Humanity had its first true super soldier. But they would need many more. Within 48 hours of Maria's successful transformation, volunteer centers opened across the globe. The response was overwhelming. Veterans, active military, first responders, and civilians lined up by the thousands. Dr. Chen's team worked around the clock, establishing transformation centers on every continent. The process was refined and streamlined. What had taken 6 hours now took 3. What had required extensive monitoring now needed minimal supervision. The genetic activation protocol was spreading faster than anticipated. Maria Santos became the template. Her abilities continued developing daily. She could run at 60 miles per hour for hours without fatigue, possess strength 20 times human normal, and most remarkably, her intelligence had increased dramatically. She was now fluent in 7 languages she'd never studied. It's not just physical enhancement, Dr. Chen explained to the Oversight Committee. The dormant DNA contains instructions for cognitive improvement, emotional regulation, and something else, something I can't identify yet. By week's end, they had transformed 10,000 volunteers. By the second week, 100,000. The Zephyrians, monitoring Earth's communications, began taking notice. Ambassador Kethvar materialized in the UN building unannounced, his crystalline form shimmering with agitation. "What have you done?" he demanded. Secretary General Martinez smiled. "We've accepted your offer, Ambassador. We're providing soldiers for your war, just not how you expected. Our sensors detect massive genetic alterations across your population. This is impossible. Your species lacks the technology." "Apparently, we didn't need technology," Martinez replied. "We just needed to remember who we really are." Kethvar's form flickered with what humans now recognized as fear. "You don't understand what you've awakened. There are protocols, safeguards, reasons why those sequences were dormant. Care to explain?" But the Zephyrian ambassador had already vanished, leaving only ozone scent and a growing sense that humanity had changed the rules of a game they didn't fully understand. The enhanced humans continued their training, unaware that across the galaxy, ancient powers were stirring in response to their awakening. The consortium's response was swift and panicked. Within hours of Kethvar's emergency report, a massive fleet of 500 ships surrounded Earth. But they didn't attack. Instead, they broadcasted a message that changed everything. A new figure appeared on screens worldwide, tall, ancient, bearing an impossible resemblance to humans. This was Archon Veltar, first speaker of the Galactic Consortium. "Children of Terra," his voice carried weight across space. "You have activated that which should have remained dormant. You have forced our hand." His sadness was universal. 65 million years ago, the Void Devourers first appeared. They consumed entire star systems, leaving nothing but empty space. The consortium was formed from survivors, dozens of species united in desperate war. Images flashed, great space battles, planets consumed by darkness, civilizations falling. We fought for millions of years. We lost. Until the architects made a desperate choice. Dr. Chen felt pieces clicking together. The architects were the most advanced race. Faced with extinction, they created a weapon, not of metal or energy, but of life itself. They took the genetic potential of every consortium species and compressed it into a single template, a seed. The screen showed primitive Earth, dinosaurs roaming vast continents. They planted this seed on a young world far from the front lines, designed to remain dormant until the species developed technology, unity, and wisdom to use such power responsibly. The asteroid that ended your world's first dominant species was no accident. It was a Void Devourer's scout. The architects accelerated evolution, pushed your ancestors toward intelligence, and waited. Veltar's image focused directly on the cameras. You are not just humans. You are the genetic inheritors of the entire galactic consortium. The strength of Corellian warriors, the intellect of Zephyrian scientists, the regenerative abilities of Thren healers, all sleeping in your DNA, waiting. The Void Devourers have found you. They're coming. And now, ready or not, humanity must become what the architects intended, the galaxy's last hope. 3 days later, they came. The Void Devourers arrived not as ships, but as absence itself, tears in space that swallowed light and matter. Earth's enhanced humans felt their approach as primal dread that spoke to genetic memories millions of years old. Maria Santos, now leading Earth's enhanced defense force, stood atop the command center watching the sky darken. Around her, 100,000 transformed humans prepared for a battle that would determine the galaxy's fate. Readings are off the charts, Dr. Chen reported, her enhanced intellect processing impossible data streams. They're not just consuming matter, they're erasing it from existence. The first wave hit Earth's atmosphere. Conventional weapons passed through harmlessly, but when enhanced humans engaged directly, something unprecedented happened. The Devourers recoiled from human touch. Where enhanced humans made contact with void stuff, reality reasserted itself. The darkness began to glow. The emptiness became solid. We're not just fighting them, Maria realized, we're healing reality itself. The battle raged for 72 hours. Enhanced humans fought in space without suits, their transformed bodies adapting to vacuum. They moved through Void Devourers like antibodies through infection, each contact becoming a beacon of restored existence. But the cost was tremendous. For every Devourer destroyed, dozens of humans were lost, their life force consumed in restoration. Earth's enhanced population dropped from 100,000 to 25,000. Archon Veltar's image flickered to life. The consortium stands ready to assist, but this is your burden. The architects designed humans to be the cure. No other species can do what you're doing. Maria, covered in strange residue from destroyed Devourers, looked up. Then we finish it. The final assault came as 10,000 remaining enhanced humans launched into the largest Void Devourer, a massive tear consuming the moon. They didn't just fight the Void, they transformed it. Their DNA, carrying a million extinct species legacy, rewrote the Devourer's existence. Darkness became light, emptiness became matter, end became beginning. When it ended, only 3,000 enhanced humans remained. But they had converted the Void Devourers into forces of creation. The galaxy's message was simple. Welcome, architects. We have been waiting.